Boxing on the Record with Randy. Uh, First of all, I need to take a commercial break and give the viewers opportunity to dislike, subscribe, share, comment, do something to engage with the show so that we can reach more people and our family can grow. Now back to the regular schedule program. Now, what I have on my mind today is I've been hearing a lot of talk going back and forth about the Shakur and Teofimo Lopez fight coming up, and I'm beginning to look at things and kind of view things in different ways. A lot of the time, we put stock in the fact that Timothy Bradley, Amir Khan, Roy Jones, whoever the case may be, start speaking about fights, and a lot of times they're wrong, and I think a lot of times they're wrong. A lot of times we put stock in. Let me say first of all, before I go into the wrong situation, but a lot of times we put stock into what they say and who they choose, because they've got in the ring and they've actually did this on a high level and they're professionals at the game. But I think a lot of times they're wrong because they don't pick a lot of times from um, ability, skill set, and all this. A lot of times they kind of mix it, but a lot of times it be more emotion and about how they feel about the fighter versus the actual breakdown of the fight. Um, and if you try to get deep with them on it, they don't really take you down that rabbit hole. They kind of stay on the surface because they're picking out emotion and out of the same thing a lot of us pick from. That's watching the fight. We like the fighter, so we pick that fighter to win with no substance to our pick. Just we like them and we picking them to win. So I just want to weigh in for a minute or two on this Shakur and Teofimo Lopez situation. I hear a lot of fighters out there picking whichever pick they're picking, but I don't think they're really picking the fighter because of the skill set and what they can do in the ring. They're picking the fighter because they like the fighter and don't like the other fighter, or they might have some type of relationship with the fighter that they're picking. They might have been in the ring with them. They might have been in the gym and watched them spar. They might have share phone calls from time to time with them. But for whatever reason, a lot of times that is what the pick is. And a lot of us picking because we don't really have a dog in the fight, and we're just picking off sheer, I guess, from what we see. And then a lot of times, once you pick your man, you want him to win anyway, so you're gonna just go hard regardless because that's who you want to win, and you don't want to be wrong. But I was watching um BOXERS, and they had a few fighters on there that picked, and I could be saying that wrong, but BOXISM. They had a few fighters on there, and they was talking about who they're picking, and I just want to weigh in on that. So that is where my conversation will be coming from. Instead of putting it on the screen, I'm just gonna talk from points that I've heard in this here. So bear with me on this one here. But yeah, that'll be what we're doing today. Excuse me if I'm all over the place in this video because I'm kind of going off of comments that I've heard in the video. So I might be talking about one fighter said this and then it might come back to him and what have you. But the first thing I want to talk about is Amir Khan. Amir Khan said that T.O. is slick and he's crafty or whatever you want to call it, and he can do all this and then he can turn up when he have to turn up. The thing I want to say about that is I'm not pro Shakur. I'm just going on what I see, and I'm not dogging T.O. because I just never felt T.O. was that guy. That's just personally looking at him. I never felt like he was that guy. And Amir Khan say he can turn up when he have to, and that's true. But who are you turning up on? Are you turning up on somebody that doesn't have the IQ to turn up with you? Are you turning up on somebody that you was already ahead of and you was just cruising along with them, and you turn up and you lose them? It's almost like a race. If you're running side by side and then you know you got more speed than the other guy, then you just turn up, you leave the other guy in the dust. But can he actually leave Shakur in the dust like that? Or can he turn up on Shakur and just dominate the whole fight? And we know Shakur is one of them people that control the ring. He controlled the pace of the fight. He controlled how the fight is fought. A lot of people holler defense first, which he is a defense first fighter. And being a defense first fighter, they talks about T.O. landing the big bombs and will he be able to handle that? But if you're a defensive fighter first, then you're not trying to get hit with that. So you're aware of that the whole night. Just like T.O. is trying to get it in, Shakur is going to be trying to keep from letting him get it in or keep from getting hit with it. So I'm just saying that to say a lot of times I hear these comments being made. It's being made to the point as if one fighter is in there by himself and he's doing what he want to do, but you got somebody else across from you. So it remains to be seen who gonna control the ring. Whoever control the ring is gonna control the fight, because they're gonna set the pace. They're gonna set everything for the fight. So we got to look at it from that standpoint. Amir Khan said that Teofimo Lopez is going to win. He's a slicker fighter, and he has the raw power. He's trained with Teofimo Lopez, and he fought the more bigger names. But okay, it's a difference in fighting bigger names and fighting quality opponents, because you can have a big name, but you might not be that guy. You just got the name. As my mama used to like to say, you just wearing the hat. That's it. You just wearing the hat. Ain't nothing in it. You just wearing the hat. So I don't think it's going to come down to the names in this situation. I think it's going to come down to the ability of the fighter. And I want to say this before I forget it. If Teofimo lose to Shakur Stevenson, would the crowd or would the people or would the masses be saying that Shakur is really a nobody? Because they say that Teofimo tends to turn up and tends to do well when he faced with an opponent that does well. But have he ever been faced with an opponent that's way more skilled than him, have better foot placement than him? Because y'all know how I like to always say that when you racing by yourself, you fast. And I'm going to relate that to T.O. at this point. T.O. do all this moving around and what have you, trying to emulate black people. Just being blunt, trying to emulate black people because he's in love with our culture. So he look good when he's in there with somebody that can't do what he's doing. But when you on the dance floor with somebody that can actually dance, it actually shows your imperfections and shows that you can't really dance, because you look good when you're dancing by yourself or with somebody that can't dance. Shakur Stevens, to me, don't really have, I would say, just great footwork. And me and Chi-Town argued about this, and we still on the fence about it. But I wouldn't say he's got bad footwork. When I say he don't have great footwork, I say he got educated footwork, which means he know where to be at what time and what position to be in at a particular time. That's what I call educated footwork, because you might not have the best, but you know how to position yourself to be in the right position that you need to be in to make it work for you. So we're going to see how good T.O. footwork is and how elusive he is when he get in here. It's going to be put to the test. And if he passed the test, I'm giving him his props, and I'm going to look at him differently, because I don't harbor the hate, because I don't have a dog in the fight. But like I said, I think the reason why Kambosos beat him, because when he was doing all those antics, Kambosos was patient enough to wait on him to quit dancing and doing a jig and doing the bus stop, or whatever you want to call it. and he was there to punch him in the face when he got through doing all this uh, so-called impressive stuff that impressed other people. That's how I think Kambosos beat him. They were talking about Shakur is a little too calm, and that's kind of worrying to them. I think not comparing Shakur to Bud, because Shakur is not a Bud. Bud was real calm coming into this fight. A lot of people thought he was going to lay an egg against Canelo. But sometimes when you calm, that gives you the opportunity to see things and watch them play out and be able to control what's going on. And it all depends on the game plan that's coming in. That's who's going to win, the one with the best game plan. And people look at T.O., but when T.O. get in trouble, they don't know what to do. They don't know what to do. His dad can't give him no instructions because his dad doesn't know. If we've seen Shakur in trouble, I can't remember seeing him in trouble, and I'm pretty sure some of y'all out there can tell me when he was in trouble. But he seemed to be able to adjust on his own to get himself out of trouble. So that's going to play a major part in it also. Who's going to be able to make those adjustments in the ring when they happen? And then, too, we might be missing something with Shakur and this T.O. fight, because Shakur and them might have been looking at T.O. for a while, because he says a lot of holes in T.O. game, and you don't know why he's saying that. They got confidence enough to move up to fight Shakur. They see something they can exploit. And it's going to be a lot of egg on a lot of people's face, because they see something that the public don't see, and they're not letting them in on it, and they know they can capitalize on it. So we got to be also looking out for that. The lady that was there in the interview with Amir Khan, she asked a very important question. I think, to me, it lit me up when she said, do you think the diehard fans or the day one fans, they understand the sweet science, and I'm paraphrasing, they understand the sweet science, the hit and not get hit, I guess is what she's saying. But other fans have become bloodthirsty and just want to see a knockout. And that's all they're there for, to see a knockout. And it resonated with me, because I think about the fact that people that don't understand boxing and that don't really enjoy boxing the way the purists enjoy boxing, they just want to see a knockout, because a knockout is easy to follow. Two people get in there and they exchange punches, and one of them go down and the fight over with. That was a good fight. He got beat up and he lost because he got knocked out. But they don't understand and can't follow the techniques of boxing. They don't see the setups. They don't see the lever changes. They don't understand the lever changes and why they're changing. They don't understand the footwork, why it's being placed there, and this, that, and the third. So I think a lot of times people judging fights, they judging it on who can knock who out. But when you got somebody that understands the sweet science like Shakur, it's hard to kind of count him out, because he understands technique, hit and not get hit. T.O. said, unlike Canelo Alvarez, his best attribute is his footwork. And as I've alluded to earlier in the video, footwork is a good thing for T.O. when he's in there with somebody that doesn't have the type of foot placement that Shakur has. And like I said, give it to me in the comments on who y'all think he's fought with as good a footwork, as a good foot placement as Shakur. You look good when you're racing by yourself. You look good when you're dancing by yourself. You look good in the ring when you got great footwork, greater footwork than the people that you have in there with you. Tio also said to the reporter, asked, was it a rematch clause? And he said, no rematch clause. And I don't think Tio want a rematch clause, because he feel like I don't think he can win. I think it was cornered. Me personally think it was cornered into this fight. Now, he don't want to go through this again. In a sense, he's like Canelo when it comes to that. If he get beat bad, he don't want to revisit that. He never did revisit Kambosos. Just like the fights that Canelo lost, he didn't want to revisit them. Tio don't want to have to go back through that because he feel like he'll be being exposed for the second time if he lose. So he said no rematch clause. Tim Bradley is one that's like he's been high upon Teofimo Lopez, as he would call him, Teo. He's been high on Teo, and he's saying that it won't be no easy fight for Shakur, which we know it's not going to be an easy fight. Well, it might not. We have to see when we get there. But he said that Teo is an autonomous, meaning that after you get to such a level that you don't need instructions in the ring anymore, you know what to do. Just like Crawford was, just like Mayweather was, Shakur also. Anyway, he says that's what T.O. is, and he don't need any instruction. But he forgetting that the reason why he don't have any instructions because once the heat get hot, his daddy don't know what to do. He don't really have a corner, so he got to try to figure it out. And if he can't figure it out, he gonna be in trouble if he can't figure it out because his corner can't figure it out for him. So 9 times out of 10, if it get out of control and he can't figure it out, he gonna be like a cat on a tin roof, just sliding down, and the destination is the ground. So we know so far that Amir Khan and Timothy Bradley saying that Shakur is gonna lose, and that's their opinion. I'm not here to fight about nobody's opinion, but I just want to see how the reaction is if they're wrong. I want to see if they keep the same energy if they're wrong. That's all. Timothy Bradley said Teofimo is a hell of an athlete, which he is, and he can torque his body in different ways at different times to create offense for himself. See, that's the thing. A lot of people are fascinated with the things that Teofimo do, but to a smart fighter, all he got to do is just sit there and watch him put on his show and just be there when the show is over and capitalize off it. I can remember them saying the same thing about Canelo at one time. Canelo, he has excellent ways to make you miss. He has this thing where he just bends at the waist, and I think De La Hoya was big on that, and a couple more people big on that. He just bends at the waist like that's something spectacular to do. It is spectacular when you in there with somebody that can't do that, or when you in there with somebody that's your head and shoulders above. But when you get in there with somebody that can actually capitalize off that, it exploits that, it exposes. My man Rolly says that Teofimo, when he fight the best, he becomes the best. And the interviewer asked Rolly, do you think he have enough tools in his toolbox to beat a Shakur Stevenson? He really couldn't answer that question because, as I said earlier, when you're dealing with top tier fighters, as you go up the chain, they're great fighters or good fighters or better fighters for a reason, because it's a checklist. And as you go up the chain, the more those boxes get checked off. I'm just saying, like, it might be endurance, it might be stamina, it might be footwork, it might be finishing. The higher you go, the more those boxes get checked off. So when you're down here messing around, slumming, if you will, those guys are just here trying to get there. Those guys have passed the test to get there, and they got to keep performing to stay there. So you see a whole different type of fight. So is Teofimo a good fighter? Yes, a darn good fighter. But when you start climbing the ladder, it get greater later. And as I said, and I continue to say, it's a reason why Shakur moving up to fight Teo and not moving up to fight Devin, because fighters know who they can beat and who they can't beat. And he know he can beat Teo. Teo also know Shakur can beat him. That's why he been avoiding him. He been avoiding him. We're going to see an interesting fight on fight night. Abel Sanchez says that Teo got to come out aggressive against Shakur in order to make this fight the way he want to make it. But is he defensive responsible enough that he can come out and do that? Because Shakur is sharp, real sharp. A lot of people don't give him credit for it, but when he fought Zepeda, he fought Zepeda like that because he wanted to fight Zepeda like that. He didn't have to fight him like that. He chose to fight him like that to show us that he can fight him like that. He's not going to fight Teo like that. Teo can forget that, and the fans can forget that. He going to fight Teo in the manner that he sees that he can defeat Teo. That's how he's going to fight Teo. And if Teo and them is basing their perception on him coming in and fight like he fought Zepeda, they might be in trouble. They might be in trouble. He might pick them apart. Frank Martin is on the fence. He don't really know how this is going to go because he see Teofimo Lopez having a lot of qualities that'll keep him in the fight and that'll give Shakur Stevenson trouble, which I agree. It's going to be a good fight if it goes the way we're looking for it to go. It's going to be a good fight. Abel Sanchez says he looking at a draw. He the first one I heard say that it was going to be a draw, that he think it's going to be a draw. So this is going to be a good fight. This is going to be a better fight than we think it's going to be. This is going to be a better fight than the public is anticipating it to be. So I'm excited for the fight myself. But we're going to see how it goes. Gary Antoine Russell said he looking at it as a 50-50 fight. So, I mean, it's all over the place for this fight. And like I said, I'm looking for a great fight, man. I'm just looking for a good fight. I'm looking for a good fight with this one. Really am. With that being said, we're out of here like last year.